Camera. Tony's camera over here. Wake the director up. Okay. Anyway, Tony's a Patches pal. He's from Seattle.
He remembers you as a kid.
He said he was on my show when he was, what, 29?
No, I think I was about 7 or 8.
7 or 8.
Yes.
Okay.
We go back, according to this wonderful article, and Dave, I thoroughly enjoyed it, to 1953, aren't we?
58.
58. But you started, though,
I started in Minneapolis.
Yeah.
And did several kid shows.
And you did radio.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I did do radio for a number of years.
That was prior to 19...
Now I sound like Dave.
Yes, you do. And had no idea that you wanted to do a children's show, that you wanted to be a clown.
Well, I went to college with a friend who wound up with a kid show. His name was Casey Jumps in Minnesota. And he wanted a sidekick, and I went on his show as Joe the Cook. And then one thing led to another, and I wound up doing Chuck Wagon Chuck.
How was the old timer used to introduce the cowboy movies? Hi, all you buckaroo buddies. Say, we've got a Jim Dandy of a Western for you. We've got old Hopalong Cassidy.
And then I was Captain 11, which was a spaceman.
Captain 11, today's man of the future.
He introduced Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon. So I did all these things. And then I wound up as J.P. Patches, a clown, and came to Seattle and did that for 30-some years.
Actually, when Cairo just went on the air.
The very first live show Cairo had was J.P. Patches.
And lasted all those years. You know, in reading this, Chris, one of the things that I loved about it...
Wait a minute.
Oh, JP, sorry, JP.
Okay.
Was that you entertained the kids, but you also slipped in little gems of wisdom, like brushing your teeth or...
Well, we had a Patches Pals
obeying mom
checklist.
and dad, the checklist, yeah.
We had a checklist, and we'd go...
So it wasn't all entertainment, is what I'm getting at.
Well, yeah, we'd say, well, let's see, if you want to be a 100% Patches Pal, and I had a list, you know, mind mommy and daddy, wash your hands, face, neck, and ears, comb your hair, brush your teeth, drink your... so on and so forth. And then I would say, kids, if you do all those things, your mom will faint. You know, so we'd make kind of a joke out of it. But surprisingly, I would get letters from parents that would say, my children follow the J.P. Patches checklist, and, you know, and...
because the kids loved the slapstick, the clown.
They did.
As well as that subliminal little message that they had to be good kids in order to be your pal.
Then we had we had a character called, well, we had two baddies. One of them was I Am Rags, who looked just like me, except he had a mustache. You could tell he was a villain immediately. He had a mustache. And then we got rid of I Am Rags, and then an evil person, Boris S. Wart, the second meanest man in the world. And the kids would say, who's the meanest? And then I'd say, well, who do you think? And they'd say, oh, my teacher, or the principal, or they'd think of someone. And Boris S. Wharton, he had a song called, I'd rather be a Boris Buddy Baddie. That is what I'd really rather be. 'Cause if I was a Boris Buddy Baddie, I'd take the show away from old JP. And one time Boris went on an appearance with me, and the kids clobbered him. They rushed up and pushed him over and knocked him down. We had to get the police to rescue Boris S. Wharton.
They did
Second
not
meanest
like
man
that.
in the world. Oh.
Dave, what's your involvement in all this?
Norma, I am a part of that baby boomer generation.
We're in the J.P. Patches shirt. Oh, I have a shirt here for you.
I'm a part of that generation that JP raised. One of my first recollections of television was JP.
I'm talking, don't interrupt.
Excuse me.
Okay, take the shirt off my back, but it isn't on my back. There's a funny person on this shirt besides me. Lovely Gertrude, Miss City Dump.
Oh, there's Gertrude.
Gertrude was supposed to be with us, and Gertrude became ill. So Gertrude couldn't make it, but I will carry on in the best tradition of the theater.
Norma, we have a clip from one of JP's old kinescopes from the early 1960s.
We're going to look at it right now. Let's do it.
Do they know what a kinescope is?
Yes.
Do I know what a kinescope is?
Do you know what a ballop is?
There we are now. Let's get on. Hey, how does that look? How does that look, boys and girls? Pretty nice, eh? You don't like it? Well, this is my best suit. Oh, I think you're just kidding me. I'll bet you'll love it. You'll love it, don't you? Sure. Hey, let's check and see what kind of a day it is outside. All we have to do is ask Mr. Weatherman. Oh, he's always out there early, bright and early. Hi there, Mr. Weatherman. Say, the boys and girls would like to know, are we going to have a nice, bright, sunshiny day this morning? Oh, now stop that. Goodness. Oh, all the abuse I have to take around here. What's that here? Spilling water on me. Well, thank goodness you couldn't do anything worse than that for you. Let her snow, let her snow, let her snow. Oh, now cut it out. One of these days, that Mr. Weatherman and I are going to have a showdown. Just like they have in those cowboy pictures, you know. Come on.
Can I ask a serious question?
Wait, I want to say something about that. There are two
Oh,
things.
okay.
Two things I noticed about that. Number one, it was black and white. And number two, I was a lot thinner than...
I never admit that.
Oh, well...
I never
anyway.
say I was younger.
Oh.
We haven't changed
I
a bit.
didn't say I was younger.
No,
I
we
just
haven't changed a
I
bit.
was thinner.
I want to ask one serious question. Because of all the controversy going on at the moment about children's television, what do you think of it today?
Oh,
And with the Children's Television Act and so on.
Oh, I was telling Dave, I think there's some marvelous shows on, you know, Sesame Street has always been a wonderful show. I watch it with my granddaughter. And some of them was like Rugrats and that Steven Spielberg one. I think they're wonderful shows. The only thing is there aren't any local television shows anywhere in the country. There may be a few isolated places where there's a local captain, whatever his name is, Captain Pensacola or whatever, but it's just a thing of the past. And it's too bad because the children do not have the opportunity to meet a local person, shake hands with them, and
they become real, and television becomes real. Dave, we have the Fox 4, it's called the Fox 4 Kids, isn't it?
Yes, Fox 4 Kids.
On Channel 4 here, which is, I think, daily.
I think I'm going to see them too.
I think you're going to be, and that, so they're one of the isolated folks who, where the station's willing to spend the money for a, you know, a kids program.
Yeah, it's a rarity.
Which is great. Dave, could we just sort of ignore him for a moment and find out what it is he's doing?
Yes.
Pretend he's not here, brag about him a little, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, we're having a Patches Pal reunion tomorrow afternoon at 1 p.m. at the Wilda Marston Theater for all of those kids, those three generations of kids that grew up and watched this, this famous TV clown, this Emmy award-winning clown. And it's just a reunion of, we've got cartoons, we've got games, and a chance to meet one of their dearest and oldest friends, J.P. Patches.
Give me the time again.
It's at 1 p.m. at the Wilda Marston Theater, which is in the Lusac Library, and there's plenty of parking and one big show.
And I understand it's terribly expensive is the only draw.
Tickets are $10, and
nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's just a great afternoon.
Yeah, I want to meet all the old Patches Pals that are up here in Anchorage.
Well, they are here to see you.
They're here to see you. As a matter of fact, after this commercial break, we're going to meet a little girl that might remember Patches. We don't know, for example, because a lot of what he did was not on the air, but off the air in the greater Seattle area. Children's Hospital was one of your favorites.
Yes, it was. They were kind enough to have a special play area called the J.P. Patches Room there for many years. I used to visit all the children there.
Hey, come back.
Okay, thanks.
Love to have you.
Thank you, Anchorage. See you tomorrow.
Now, we'll take that commercial break and be right back with more guests.